But I've never seen a tree like this that wouldn't go down. Look at this side. Hey, it's Brock here from Rock Hill Farms, and today we're going to do a tree cleanup at my daughter's house. This is a property I actually own, and you've seen me out here doing a few jobs at before. They've got some big trees in the backyard, and during this last storm while I was on vacation, they had some storm damage, and they got someone to top this tree, but the haul off would have cost them extra, and so I told them just, get it down, get it safe, and then I'll take over from there. And they're gonna burn a lot of this here, but I'll take some of it back for firewood. But mainly, I'm excited about this because I think I'm gonna get a really nice walnut saw log. So here's the tree we're looking at. We've got a lot to clean up around it. This is good sized stuff. And they would be trying to do this by hand, obviously, which would really be a lot more work, a lot more time consuming. So I'm bringing the mini skid steer over here, and we'll drag all this away, get it chunked up into pieces that I can use for firewood. Then once I've cleared all the area around it, I'm gonna cut down this trunk, which is still pretty darn good sized. We're gonna cut that down and try to get that on the sawmill. Obviously, walnut is probably the most desirable species of log to get on the sawmill. Now, people do have a misconception a lot of times about the value of a walnut log, and they'll want to tell you you could sell this tree for thousands and thousands of dollars. That's just not true. It might be worth a couple $100, and when someone's wanting to sell a tree like this, you say that log, let's say that log's worth $300. What are my costs to come get it? If I have to do a bunch of other work, it might cost me more to come get it than what it's worth. And even let's say $300 and I don't have to do any other work, I'm probably $100 minimum cost on getting the machine here, unloaded, loading the log, taking the log back and unloading it, coming back for the machine. So years ago when we lived here, I would see listings that say we pay top dollar for walnut logs. And I made a call. We've got a few walnut trees on this property. And I made a call to see if someone would buy these trees. And including the one I'm doing today, all the responses I got were no, they would not do it for free, let alone pay for the logs. Too much liability coming into town and doing this kind of work. A compact tractor is probably the ideal for this job, but between the bigger TYM tractor and the mini skid, I chose the mini skid as a better tree cleanup tool. Fits in a smaller space, easier to transport, might be able to haul it back with a lot of the wood because it takes up so much less room on the trailer. And also, I haven't got my third function installed on the tractor yet. So we're going to be working with the Baumolite today. My first goal is just to get all this spread out so I can sort through it. Anything that's clearly just brush that needs burned here, I'll pile up front. Anything that needs cut up for firewood, I'll stack down here. Even though the miniature skid steer is somewhat limited on capacity, and I can't carry as much brush per trip as I could with a bigger tractor grapple, I did find it to be pretty efficient for sorting out the different types of materials, especially when it's all jumbled together. And this is probably a better machine than like my little John Deere tractor that I still haven't sold, because in this specific instance, There's about 17 foot between the tree and the house, and I could get in there at all different angles and turn around and maneuver, or that would have been a lot more difficult with the tractor. I tell you what, it felt really nice to get out and do something useful and get a job done after a week on vacation, and then the past week spent primarily dealing with car troubles on my kids' cars. Within 2 more days, I think both cars will be fully up and running again, which will free me up to do what I like to do, which is projects like this. The past week, I've spent a good part of my days driving my kids to school and work. But my daughter's car is fixed, and my son's Jeep hopefully will be back up and running on Monday. The last few weeks, I've been talking about some changes I'm making to how I produce content on this YouTube channel. And one example of that is these car repair videos. In the past, I've recorded videos about anything going on in my life, or literally anything that crosses my mind. If I have a rant, or I want to give a motivational speech, or I want to fix the brakes on one of our cars, but from the perspective of someone who is making these videos for a living, I've decided that it's probably not a good idea to post those videos. Because most of my viewers skip those videos and they get lower view counts. And as a result, the YouTube platform kind of decides that when your viewers skip your own videos, it means you're not making good videos. So those off-topic videos I'm publishing on a second channel that is just my name. Yesterday I posted an 18-minute video explaining everything I've learned about low oil pressure faults on a 1999 Jeep Wrangler. And I think most of you probably would have skipped that video, so I put that on the second channel, and if you want to see it, I'll put a link in the description and you can click over there and watch it. But this channel I want to keep primarily about these types of outdoor projects, reviewing tractors and attachments and equipment, doing work for people, or major building projects. The second channel may also get a dose of my personal rant videos or maybe even some semi-political stuff. I'm just going to see how it goes. But the point of this is not that I want to make things complicated or have two places you have to follow me if you want to see everything. I'm just trying to do what I can to make sure my videos are distributed to people on YouTube. If you happen to be following my channel on Facebook, you won't notice any difference. I'm still going to post all the videos there under the same channel name. So this tree doesn't have a top on it, which makes the fact it leans toward the house a lot less of a problem. I've measured this off and I've done my sight test where you put your fingers like this, one finger at the base of the tree and one at the top of the tree, and then you turn it like this. They'll show you where it lands. Also estimated the height and walked it off. I've got at least 6 feet of gap where this isn't going to hit the house. The only thing it could hit is this electric wire over here, but I don't think it's going to be that hard to steer it. Now you guys know most of the time when I'm doing tree felling, I bore cut and then work back. There's no reason to do that in this tree. It doesn't have a direction it wants to go. I want to push it this way a little bit instead of towards those power lines. So this will be a traditional face cut, traditional back cut, bang wedges in the back to control the direction of fall. The tree always tells you what technique to use. Start with the face cut. At this point, I was shocked that double stacked wedges weren't causing this tree to fall when it really doesn't have a back lean or anything that I'm fighting against. I really don't have any experience at cutting trees that don't have a top. Usually the weight of the top pulls it down, but I've never seen a tree like this that wouldn't go down. Look at this side. So I've never had a tree in my life where I cut the hinge down to this much and it wouldn't fall. The other side I left the hinge a little bit thicker because I want it to go that way, but it's still only 1.5 inches. That tree has no excuse not to fall down. Well, I learned something today about cutting a tree with no top in it. I mean, you just have to completely cut almost all the way through your hinge, or you got to put leverage on it, one or the other. So if I was logging for profit, I'd already be in big trouble because I wasted 6 to 8 inches of the best of this log. And then the other thing is, you should know that a log is always straighter when it's standing up. As soon as it hits the ground, you see it's got that dog leg in it. I'm not going to be able to use this whole thing anyway. Got to cut this off, then cut it that Y. Because it's a big tree, I've got to have a machine that can get it onto a trailer. If you've been watching my channel a long time, this is all repetition, but if you're new to tree cutting, it's important information, and this can be a dangerous cut. So, if you imagine this being cut in half, which way would it fall? It would fall this way, which means the top is compressing, the bottom is opening. That's the tension. You want to cut the compression first, so I'm going to cut halfway through the top, and that's just a rule. Always look at your log, determine compression and tension, cut the compression first, tension second. Also, with the larger diameter, I'm going to cut the side away from me all the way through, then cut down the compression and come up from the bottom. That allows me to be a little bit more distant from the log when I make the final cut. I'm pretty much certain this isn't going to roll towards me, but I'm going to stick this log behind it anyway, so it couldn't roll if it wanted to. It's been a good, productive day, making a bunch of progress on getting my kids' vehicles running so that I've got my time back to do my normal projects. When I'm taking them places all day, every day, it's hard to get anything else done. Anyway, let me know what you think about what I did in this video. I appreciate you taking time to watch. I'll put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.